As a designer or strategist of any kind, understanding how people will view and interpret the products and messages you're sending is of utmost importance. Understanding what will inspire or lead others to feel certain emotions can help you craft better products and send more effective messages. It's my goal in my career to help highlight issues and inspire others to better themselves, their communities, and their world. In part 1, we learned that the brain is the most fascinating part of the human body. It feels like tofu and weighs as much as about 4 tubs of butter, around 2% of the body's total weight. However, though it weighs so little, it accounts for 20% of our body's consumed energy. It generates about 10 to 25 watts of power, and over the course of a day, the brain generates more electrical impulses from firing neurons than all the telephones in the world. In part 3, we learned that the brain uses chemicals to create emotions that help drive our actions. These chemicals consist of things like adrenaline, cortisol, dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. Our thoughts can influence our emotions, and this is what allows us to use psychological techniques in advertising to evoke certain emotional responses. In part 4, we learned that our brain required a great deal of energy to operate. More intensive brain functions require more energy, and to help save energy where we can, the brain divides various processes into conscious and subconscious thought. Things like breathing, heartbeat, or sweat are delegated to subconscious thought. But through conscious thought, we can help correct these lesser desired traits and attitudes. In part 5, we learned that while the brain is powerful, it does have limits. We have 5 powerful senses: sight, touch, smell, taste, and hearing. These senses give us our perception and allows our brain to process thousands of clues about our environment every second. However, our brain has special tricks to help us save energy and brain power. Our brain tunes out certain senses when we don't need them much. We don't need sight when we're asleep, but smell and sound are still very important. Where there's danger in the area, our brain focuses in on that danger. By understanding our brain's limits, we can better understand its strengths. Every piece of advertisement and media we see uses these techniques to influence viewers, whether or not they're doing so in a moral or ethical way. There's really nothing more I'd like to see in this class. I believe that the teacher's doing a great job with what we've seen so far, and I could be biased due to my familiarity with the subject, but I trust your judgment with the direction of the content. For this week's project, we're to discuss some of our favorite pieces of media's use of psychological techniques in their design, to back up our findings, and to do so in a way that demonstrates our knowledge of the psychological techniques contained within this week's lessons.